Hello. Yan. Ha? Kumusta ba yung ating mga friends dyan? Um, mas marami tayo ngayon kasi nung Sunday, no? Attorney Ahmed. Kaya lang si Attorney Ahmed, nakikita ko siya, pero hindi ko siya nilalagay sa stream kasi
Tapusin ko
ngumunguya.
lang pangabutan ko.
Ngumunguya. Eating is life. Ayun, sino pa bang nandiyan dyan? Uy, bago to si GQ. GQ, good evening. And Carmelo, Kapinpin. Just Rain. Marami sa inyo, na-miss kami kagabi, no? Maraming hindi nanood. Uy, nandito na naman ang ating masugid na taga-subaybay, si Sir Amik. Nasolve na ba yung iyong katanungan, Sir Amik, tungkol sa murder and homicide? Tama? Nasolve na siguro yun, ano? And Gene Jaggers. Oh, you're from UK. Parang bago itong sali. Alright, sino pang mga bago? Mag-greet tayo dito. Sabi nandiyan dyan daw si Tita Ube. Good evening, Tita Ube. And then, sabi na natin si GQ. And then si Benedict. Uy, sama natin to kahapon. Of course, nandiyan na naman si Tunay Paparazzi. Ay, teka, sa mga gustong sumali, no? Paano nga ba to? Baka may mga gustong sumali, mag-discuss with us. Lagay natin yung invite natin, ha? Copy, clipboard. Alright. Uy, nalagay na pala ni Ahmed. Ang bilis. Ikaw ba naglagay niyan, pre? Tama ba yan? Okay. Good. And Stella. Si Stella ay mayong gabi. Ay, sus, mayong gabi. Good, ma'am. Mga Bisaya man mi diri, ma'am. Kaming tanan. Tanan basta gwapo. Kay kadaghanan diri mga babae man. Watching from Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi. Saan ba ang Abu Dhabi? Alam ko na sa Middle East yan. Pero, tama ba? Middle East o sa ano? Africa. Abu Dhabi. Saan ba yan? Attorney Ahmed.
Middle East yan sa United Arab Emirates.
UAE. And from UK, Bernadette. Bernadette Prieto. Ayun ba yung ano, ma'am? May-ari ng ano? Philippine Daily Inquirer. Di ba
Saka ano,
Ma'am Prieto yung may-ari?
Donuts.
Hmm?
Dunkin Donuts.
Good evening po. Bacolod ba yung apelido o Bacolod yung lugar? Okay, si hello from Milan. Milan is in Italy, no? Tama ba? Ay, nasolve na daw yung problema ni Sir Amik. Kinsa man din mo gipatay, sir? Nakakagipatay, sir. Mga mansiro, sir, no? Dautan man na ang patay tagwan nga ng ilaga. Bawal. Dili ba?
Dili.
Bantu grang mga gwapo ay so sa tanawa. Katuog ito ko ano, kanang mga tagaog me. Si Ma'am Stella. Oh, si Ma'am Stella.
Sus, kagwapa.
Bye. Bye. Ngayong gabi, bye. Attorney, hello daw, galing kay Josie Agabaw. Ang dami nating friends ngayon. Sus, may mga taga-Japan. Oy, nandyan si Sir. Bilib ako dito kay Sir Sunny Baron niya eh. Marami itong inputs. Okay. Galing ng mga inputs si Sir Sunny.
Inom lang akong gamot.
Watching from, where's that? Oh, Japan. What is the ano bang ano si Japan? Tama, JP, no? JP yung kanyang abbreviation. Yep.
JP.
And may mga, of course, meron tayong mga friends from California. Oy, matagal na to si Brooklyn. Lagi pong nanonood sa atin. Okay. From the City of Love. What is the City of Love?
Iloilo.
Ha?
Iloilo.
Hindi. Hindi nga.
Oo.
Paano naging City of Love yung Iloilo? Di ba yun yung most ano yun? Most ano ba yun? Attorney Ahmed.
Para sa sakit sa ero.
No, most loyal, most loyal, most loyal, most loyal. Oh, most
Iloilo
loyal
kami.
and whatever. To the King of Spain.
Tama.
Paris. Paris daw eh. Paris daw, Paris. Ang City of Love. Nagoya. Okay.
Iloilo nga daw.
So,
Iloilo nga daw.
Iloilo ba talaga? Ayun,
Sabi
Iloilo
ni
daw.
Kaya eh. Siya mismo nagsabi. But we can contest that.
Ha?
But we can contest that.
Meron ako. Kanina, yung guest natin kanina, no? Si Mr. Regalado, no? Yung sa Oroquieta. Yeah, guest natin sa Tambayan. Alam mo ba anong tawag nila sa City of Oroquieta?
Ano?
The City of Good Life.
Oy, totoo yan.
The City of Good Life. Nagulat nga ako eh.
Ngayon lang nila ginawa yan.
Wala pa yan nung bata pa ako. So, meron naman taga-Australia. Okay. Attorney Ahmed, ready ka na?
Hindi pa.
Ito yung ating panauhing pandangal ngayong gabi eh.
Sinong
Pero
panahon?
bago yan, mag-like and share muna tayo. Like and share. What is the like and share? Please don't forget to like and share. Yeah. Alright. Okay. Kahapon, sino bang mga kasama natin? Ibalikan ba natin yung ating ending kahapon?
Oo.
Maganda natin mabalikan kasi kahapon medyo gabi na natin yun na naipalabas eh. Habang naghihintay tayo ng mga kasama natin, katagayan niya na si Atty. Ahmed ay kumakain pa. Pero, kayo din po, pwede rin kayong sumali dito. Sino bang gusto? Just click just copy this, okay? It's in your chat screen now. Just copy that and put it in your browser in preferably Chrome browser para makasali kayo. Pwedeng walang video, audio lang. All right? Okay, so last night ito na-miss to ni Sir Sunny Baronia. Ang ending natin last night is we were talking about Vladimir Zelensky, the face of the war in Ukraine. Okay. So we investigated the prior literature on Ukraine, lalo na yung mga reports and findings ng state of their media, state of their freedom and justice system, and then yung treatment on indigenous peoples, and compared it with the Philippines. They were very similar. Halos palitan mo lang yung pangalan. Yun na yun eh. Okay? Yeah? So that was before the war. And the lesson here is like this. We also saw that before the actual invasion of Russia into Ukraine, no one in the media worldwide actually aired anything. No one interviewed Vladimir Zelensky. We haven't even seen his face. We only saw his face when the cannon started firing, or the missiles started dropping into Kiev. Okay? And why was this? Evidently, ito pala si Zelensky is not a darling of the press, even though he was an actor. So, itong ating picture ngayon of Ukraine na nagmamakaawa, no? Yung ating One with Ukraine na panawagan, laging nakatatak sa utak natin who are not from Ukraine, no? Uy, sino to? Meron sasali. Right? Let me just you turn on your muna. At least one audio or
allow
video.
Access.
Yeah.
Allow access.
Miss Amy. Amy, you turn on one of your videos or your camera or your microphone para makapasok tayo. Or let me see if I can turn it on for you. Hindi. So you have to turn it on yourself. Uy. Okay, sige. Just do it again. Alright.
Do it again.
Yeah. Nagpa-Vogue interview. Yep. This is now, all right? And they're making so much issue about this. In fact, uh, kumbaga yung destruction nila of the Zelensky character is slowly starting. But why? Why would they want him out? Obviously pala, or lumalabas na ito pala si Zelensky is pictured in the same manner as Rodrigo Duterte. Alright? Ikaw, pang-vogue din to si Ahmed, tinan mo. Pang-vogue din to si Sheila, oh.
Oo, pang-vogue yan kasi cartoon niya
Oo.
yata yung picture.
Alright. Ano? So, isang mag-share tayo ng something na what do we share, Attorney Ahmed? Mas maganda. Yung
Sige.
ano ba i-share? Ikaw muna, pumasok ka na kasi. Para hindi kumakain ka pa rin. Grabe naman to. Grabe naman kain niya.
Natumba yung gate namin. Putya.
Ha? Ano nangyari? Why don't you tell us? Why don't you tell us?
Natumba yung gate. Ang bigat-bigat doon.
Anong gate?
Yung gate sa harap.
Narinig ka ba? Narinig niyo ba si Attorney Ahmed?
Yeah, they can hear me.
Naka-audio ka? Okay.
Yeah. Natumba yung gate. Natanggal siya sa semento. Yung nakadikit siya sa semento. Natanggal yung, yung connection na yun. And then, it started falling to the car.
Yung bagong gawa?
Yes.
Why?
Hindi masyadong maganda yung pagkadugtong sa gate ay sa semento.
Oo. Ayun. So, that's walang na-disgrasya, walang nasugatan, walang na ano?
Medyo nagkalasog-lasog lang ang mga buto ko kasi ako yung sumalubong agad.
Talaga? Oh.
Pero okay lang. Okay, naghuhugas lang ako ng kamay ngayon tapos naglalagay ng liniment. Tapos naglalagay ng makeup ng konti para pumugi ako masyado. Mamaya konti. Mga 5 minutes.
Makeup. Okay. So ito yung pinakalas natin na narinig.
Сьогодні російські терористи нанесли черговий удар по Турецько-Донецьку
Bawasan lang natin yung
по
kanyang
зупинці
audio
громадського транспорту.
because it's in
8
Ukrainian.
людей загинули. Серед поранених троє
So
дітей.
he's
Уламками
talking
снарядів
now
та
about his
вибуховою хвилею пошкоджені житлові
real
будинки,
situation in Ukraine
звичайні
in
багато
reaction to
поверхні.
the to the Amnesty International findings or publication that the Ukrainian army is responsible for
черговий
endangering their
акт
own
терору,
civilians.
цинічний і
Okay?
прорахований. Вони знали, куди б'ють. і,
Now,
очевидно,
everything that he
хотіли,
says
люди
about what's going on
Проте,
seems to be
щодо цього і тисяч
muffled na.
інших злочинів
No? Kasi
російських
nagkaroon tayo ng
терористів
idea
ми
ngayon
не
na
бачимо
this
чітко
guy
і вчасно
nagpapavogue,
звітів
yeah, like
від
just like
деяких
what
міжнародних організацій.
Sheila was saying,
Ми
no?
побачили сьогодні зовсім інший
And
звіт від Amnesty
lumalabas na naman ulit yung
який,
kanyang
на
mga
жаль,
issues.
пробує
Right.
амністувати державу
At the end of last night's presentation,
на жертв. Немає.
right, we
Не
found
може бути
this.
навіть гіпотетично
Okay, let me just
жодної
pull it up.
умови, за якою будь-який
Okay.
російський
We found
удар
that
по
the
Україні стає виправданим. Агресія
the
проти
main
нашої держави
actors
є нічим,
responsible for his
неспровокованим, загарбницьким і відверто терористичним. І
demolition
якщо хтось
in media
робить звіт, якому
Okay.
жертва
is
і агресор,
actually
нібито в чомусь однаково,
this group.
якщо аналізуються
Yung tinatawag na okay, na Pandora
в цей час
Papers.
ігнорується,
In the
то
Pandora
з цим не
Papers, we
можна
will
миритися.
show it to you.
Майже
Yes.
одних лише релігійних
where is it?
храмів і молитвених будинків
ICIJ. How to the
пошкоджено
ICIJ.
або зруйновано
this
російським
one.
ударом. Майже 900 медичних
Right?
закладів, більше
Ha.
2200 осіб,
Can you pull it up, Med? Kasi hindi ko nakikita.
десятки університетів,
Ito?
Natakpan
Ewan.
eh. Oh.
і дитячі
Ah.
Oh, can you
Palitan na
stop
natin yan si
the-
Zelensky muna.
не
No,
одного
just pull it. Just put it there.
Okay. Hold on.
Yeah. So itong ICIJ, International Consortium of Investigative Journalists, they are the ones responsible for the release of that thing called the Pandora
Pandora Papers.
Papers. Okay, now they also claim pala that this Pandora Papers is responsible for the backing out of Arthur Tugade.
Ganun ba? Backing out from
Ah.
what?
from running in the Senate. Ano yan? What's that? Babaeng bata? Ano yan? Ano yan? Chocolate?
Chocolate. Oo.
Ako hanggang ganito lang ako. Oh,
Ano yan?
21 pesos only.
Ay, ang sarap niyan eh.
Harry Roque.
Harry Rocky,
Okay.
Harry Chocolate.
Ito daw si, si Arthur Tugade ay nag-back out sa pagtakbo dahil lumabas siya sa Pandora Papers. And
Ano nga
nag-verify the
ba yung
information.
Pandora Paper? Ano
Yung Pandora
ba to?
Papers
Yan.
are supposedly
Expose.
leaks of financial documents that link mga politicians and businesses to several bank accounts, na offshore bank accounts na supposedly merong corruption ang dating. Okay? Now, the ICIJ claims responsibility for that, and these are their journalists now. No? Journalists that are involved in the ICIJ, and sabi nga ni Ahmed, huwag na natin isa-isa dyan. Punta na tayo sa Pilipinas. Okay? And these are their representatives in the Philippines.
Yep.
Okay? Now, paano ba ito nangyayari? How is the media becoming the parang pulis pang kalawakan na sa ngayon, no? That they are able to undermine the constitutionally installed, popularly elected. They're able to do away with the will of the people. Any country. Bakit siya nangyayari? Attorney Ahmed, what do you think? What gives them the right?
Well,
What makes them think that they are in the right place to do it?
because they think that they are the brightest, among the brightest and the most credible people in the world. Kasi mga journalists nga daw sila, and they have integrity, and they have a track record of being honest.
Mm-hmm.
So when they band together, they would tend, when each of them would already think of himself or herself as the most awesome person in the country. But when they do band together, and they come from different countries, and they band together, they would tend to think that they are the most awesome collection of people in the world.
Mm-hmm.
That is why they have this moral ascendancy to review the integrity of people, of officials, of bank accounts, and they have the moral ascendancy to allegedly release leak secrets of these people with only their statement of a certain connection between this person and a bank account involving corruption or terrorism or whatever. So it's just their say so. They are the only people who says this account belongs to this person and it is related to this other account or other person, and this is likely being used for corruption. All the while, there's really no proof of any of that, because had there been proof, there would have been a criminal case against that official, diba? Because what is the best way to prove that there is corruption? Not only the best, but the surest and the how do you say that? And the least impunity that is ever afforded, other than a court case and a finding of guilt by a court, diba? But bakit hindi nila ginagawa yan? I don't know.
Bakit?
Maybe their evidence is not enough. Maybe because what they're saying is just really a glorified version of hula.
Okay.
Yan.
So sabi dito, in Ukraine, the journalists have a series of Pandora paper stories that reveal hidden offshore business activities of President Volodymyr Zelensky and Entourage, including valuable real estate, the heart of London. Tingnan nga natin.
Tingnan natin.
Hindi. I've never seen this. Kaya lang, it's in Ukrainian eh. Hindi natin nababasa.
I-upload ba?
No. Right, I cannot read it. Oh yeah, pwede pala siyang gawing English. Okay. But, okay.
Okay, game.
So, all right. So, when was this made? October 4, 2021. So, just before the war, you know? So, Zelensky's closest entourage bought real estate in London. Okay, this is the main argument against this. Even the one against Putin. Okay? They have evidence of friends or cousins or relatives who may be rich. Okay? So what if a friend buys a property in London for $7.5 million? Okay. Companies from offshore network of K. Bartal, 95, owners own apartments. Okay. And because of this, okay, so what is this? 221B Baker Street. Isn't this near the house of uh, Baker Street? Sherlock Holmes,
Yes.
right? This is near the house of Sherlock Holmes.
Hmm.
Alright? Oh, yan, Sherlock Holmes yan. Sabi nga niya dito.
Helicopters.
Oh, so what? Okay, so what? Oh, so journalists confirm Zelensky's connection with Klomosky for $40 million. So how? Okay? Tingnan natin ha. Kung paano?
Sige.
Sige, tingnan natin kung lalabas ulit yung translate. Translate. Whenever I see seriously, it's a red flag for me. It looks like unnecessary complex series of transactions, and therefore there's probably a reason that it is different from purely commercial reason.
What are you
These
reading?
things? Okay. Ganito. Sabi na dito, okay, Pandora Papers, blah, blah, blah. This stated in the new investigative film, Investigation Info, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Ang sabi dito, the journalist showed the scheme revealing during the election of British financial crime expert Graham Barrow. The expert called the transaction shown in the scheme as suspicious. Okay, again kay Bartal and Zelensky itong pinag-uusapan. Whenever I see a series of deals like this, it's a reason that is different from purely commercial reason. And then they come up with all of these things. Attorney,
Yes,
for
sir.
you to be destroying the credibility of a government
Mm.
or a head of state, di ba kailangan niya na i-establish mo yung facts mo in court or what?
Yeah, and
Huh?
whereas can you do that with a full resolution and pixel number, but in court, diba?
Precisely.
I like the hairdo, man.
Yes, precisely.
I see.
Diba?
Mahikaw ka
And
ba? Mahikaw ka?
only the suspicion part, ano to? Ano? Di ba? Just because of this pure suspicion,
Yeah.
then now they are able to establish that the president is corrupt.
That's right.
How can that even be? Di ba?
That
And
is
then,
because they are journalists, okay, and they are somehow protected from the evil teeth of libel, and that is why they grew the balls to do that to anyone they like.
Okay, the documents obtained by the journalist confirmed that in 2012, neighbors registered more than a dozen companies in the British Virgin Islands, Belize, and Cyprus. At the heart of this network was the hitherto unknown company Maltex, Multi-Capital Corp. According to the leaked documents, Maltex was equally divided between companies of Vladimir Zelensky, the brothers, and another neighbor, screenwriter, and director of the studio. What? How
Yes.
solid is that?
So
Di ba?
it's like innuendos. It's like just innuendos and parinig-rinig and ganito ganyan. Parang
Oh.
trolling. Tapos they wait
Mm.
for you to react or to
And then
lose your
that's when they will
yeah,
pounce on
yeah.
you.
So parang they make you feel like am I insane or something? Parang ganyan. They make you doubt your own sanity.
Di ba? And kayo na nasa isang bansa, you are the actually the victim here is the citizenry.
No, well, everyone who reads it and everyone who voted for the president that they are trying to destroy.
Mm. Okay, this is before the war. Okay, and we also know that they hate Russia even more. Okay,
May,
they
may
hate
sinasabi
Russia
siya,
even
no,
more.
si Sheila,
Mm.
anong ibig sabihin itong word na to?
Alin?
Yan,
Gaslighting. Yan.
what is
Oh,
that?
yan yung assignment mo, di ba?
Sheila,
Okay?
mag-join ka na.
Join us,
Paliwanag mo
join
sa
us.
amin ang ibig sabihin nito.
Yan,
What
oh.
does it
Kuhang-kuha ni Sheila, oh.
go, Sheila?
Alam mo to, Tatiana, what is gaslighting?
What is, do you know what gaslighting is? Because
Do
I
you know
don't.
what gaslighting is?
Because I don't know what it
Okay.
is.
Ala, kahawig na brother to the hair vanishing na. Ano to eh? $1 billion.
Mini-me.
Yeah. So, what is this, Attorney Ahmed? Ay, asan yun?
Ay,
Panihapon.
tapos na.
Hindi, panihapon pala kaya nagagas siya. Kaya siya
Mamaya
nagagas
pa,
kasi-
mamaya pa. Paliwanag natin sa kanya yan mamaya.
Hmm.
Okay,
Okay.
continue.
Tanggalin ko na ba to?
Tanggalin
ba
na.
to? Or palitan ko. Tanggalin ko muna kasi papalitan ko. Di ba?
Yeah.
Hindi ba kayo naaawa? Okay, balik ko lang to. Balik ko lang si Sir. Lagyan lang natin sa background, ha? Ayun, oh. Huwag lang natin gilagyan ng audio para hindi masyadong yan.
Неодноразово били по зупинці
Listen to his story.
громадського
His
транспорту.
story is now drowned.
Російська армія не зупинялась
This is
перед
very new,
ударами
ha?
по
About
меморіалах,
two days
жертвам
ago.
Голокосту, по кладовищах,
Hmm?
по табору з військовополоненими поленівцями.
They are the victims here.
Про це чомусь немає. Ось така аморальна вибірковість. Кожен, хто амністує
Moral
Росію,
selectivity.
хто штучно створює такий інформаційний контекст,
Mm.
що якісь удари терористів є нібито виправданими,
Mm.
або нібито зрозумілими.
Just because he's an actor and he just acted out as a president and then allegedly he won by that kind of popularity. Ay, ginawa niyo yung parang bobo ng mga tao sa Ukraine, no? That they
Ginawa na
cannot choose
siya
for
demonyo.
themselves.
Розширюємо можливості нашої зовнішньої політики, формальної, неформальної. Поспілкувався сьогодні з представниками африканської
info po ba kayo?
Нігерії, Південної
Ano
Африки,
daw?
Кенії, Гани. Африканські країни можуть
Where
дуже
and you're
серйозно
showing me
постраждати
Vancouver,
через провоковану
British Columbia?
Росією дестабілізацію
Wala
світової
po.
і глобальних відносин.
Hindi po kami promoter ng
Через
palabas
продовольчу
niya.
кризу.
Ay,
І при цьому
lahat ba ng winners
багато
natin napadalhan ko na, no?
правдивої
Yung ano,
інформації про російську
kanina napadala ko na yung dalawa. Si Attorney Nick, nakay
російської пропаганди.
lahat na wala nang kulang.
Змінити цей баланс.
Ay, good evening, Mila Live.
Колись перші в історії
Alright.
наших двосторонніх відносин переговори з
Hello,
So
президентом.
his story,
Mr.
Я
for the
зазначив,
first
що
time
Україна
that
готова
Ukraine is
бути
ready to
гарантом
be
продовольчої
guarantee
безпеки
food
для
security for
країн.
African countries.
Обговорили
Do you know that
наші
that
держави.
Ukraine is our number 9
Завтра нові
supplier
переговори
of
з лідером африканської країни і
agricultural
загалом,
products
останнім
in the country.
часом ми започаткували
Ukraine is number
належні
9,
комунікації з
And we
військовими
are
лідерами
buying
держав
raw materials from them which we are using in the production of many things. From French fries to
що не можна робити заручних
feeds.
їхньої нерішучості або бюрократизму
Okay?
українських пенсіонерів.
Feeds at saka mga whatever,
Livestock.
grains, yung ginagawa ta natin ng
Людей,
spaghetti.
які залежать від бюджетних виплат.
Kaya magmamahal yung spaghetti natin.
Spaghetti at saka yung ating mga
І така
ginagamit sa
штучна затримка
beer,
макрофінансової
ginagamit sa
допомоги
beer.
для нашої держави. Це або зло.
So lahat nagmamahalan.
Ginagamit natin sa paggawa ng beer.
Складно сказати, що з цього гіршого
Paano na lang ininuman?
повномасштабної війни, яка
Alright.
європейська країна
So ito ngayon,
Називати не хочу. Будемо вірити, що це все ж таки помилка.
sinong gusto mag-react? Sino yung kanina gusto pumasok sa atin dito?
Провів
Attorney?
сьогодні
Wala na ba siya?
засідання Ставки Верховного
Encourage mo nga muna,
Головнокомандувача
hanapin ko lang yung ano
Wala na.
sa...
Олексій Резніков
So,
доповів,
This
що
is his
поточного
reaction to the
забезпечення
Amnesty
військових
International
до
claim.
порталу такого.
Claim that their government is actually endangering their own people. Wow. How profound. Right. Ngayon, ang gusto ko lang buksan dito, Attorney Ahmed, ay yung itong tawag nito. Sige, ikaw muna, kausapin mo muna sila. Attorney Ahmed,
Anong gagawin?
ikaw muna ba?
Sige.
Mausap sa kanila.
Yun. Ay, ano,
Yung gaslighting mo.
naman ako eh. Parang ano ako.
Oh.
Gaslighting. Okay, gaslighting. What is gaslighting? Gaslighting is a kind of abuse by one person upon another person, which would tend to make that person who is the victim of the abuse to think that she's going or he is going insane. Okay? Parang nagdududa tuloy siya sa sarili niya. Dahil sa ginagawa nitong taong ito ay nagdududa tuloy yung kanyang biktima na parang baliw na yata siya. Babaliw na siya. Hindi na niya naiintindihan yung mga bagay-bagay. That's gaslighting. So example niya, halimbawa, inaabuso ko ng halimbawa isang gabi ginulpi yung aking asawa, for example, may asawa ako. And then I convinced her, I keep talking to her and I tell her that, you know what, that didn't happen. It's all just in your mind. Mga ganyan. Parang magdududa tuloy yung babae, teka muna, ako ba ang may problema? Sira ulo ba ako? Dududa na tuloy siya sa sarili niya. Dahil sa ginagawa nitong accuser. That's gaslighting. Ayun, yung example nun, yung Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case. It is a good source of examples of gaslighting.
Okay. So, ano ko lang ha, i-add ko lang dito sa screen or tama ba? Lumalabas ba? This is the one.
Alin? Oo, lumalabas. Don't miss.
O si Zelensky pa rin yan?
Hindi, si Don't Miss.
Hindi ata, mali yan. Palitan ko lang ha, Ay,
Sige.
tama ba? No, not
Yeah,
that one.
Serbia.
Palitan ko lang. Hindi yan. Okay. So as I couldn't find yesterday another source, so ngayon na lang natin gawin. From the okay. Okay, this one. Okay, so this one is a account from the Voice of America, VOA News. Okay, VOA News says, right.
Mother pushed their child.
Okay, in Kiev. Yeah. The head of the AI. Ikaw nga magbasa, sir. Kasi maliit sa akin. Mas malaki sa'yo eh. Ano sabi?
Okay, Kiev, Ukraine. The head of Amnesty International Ukraine chapter has resigned, saying the human rights organization shut down her opposition to publishing a report that said Ukrainian forces had exposed civilians to Russian attacks by basing themselves in the populated areas. So ginawang human shield yung
Human
mga
shield. Yan.
human shield ang mga civilians na Ukrainian. In a statement posted Friday night on Facebook, imagine that their statements are posted on Facebook. This is Amnesty International. Oksana Pokalchuk accused her former employer of disregarding Ukraine's wartime realities and the concerns of local staff members who had pushed for the report to be reworked. The report, released Thursday, drew angry denouncements from top Ukrainian officials and criticism from Western diplomats who accused the authors of making fake claims that appeared to equate the Ukrainian military's defensive actions to the tactics of the invading Russians.
Right. Yun. Now, sabi
Yan.
dito it is ito, sabi to nung nag-resign it is painful to admit, but I and the leadership of Amnesty International have split over values. Bokalchuk wrote, I believe that any work done for the good of society should take into account the local context and think through consequences.
Yan. Parang tinamaan siya ng
Russia.
lisensya.
Hindi, kasi nandoon siya sa ground eh. Siya ang nandoon, di ba? Siya ang nakakaalam ano nangyayari. Tapos ito mga boss niya, gumagawa ng kwento sa taas. Okay. Russia has repeatedly justified attacks on civilian areas by alleging that Ukrainian fighters had set up firing positions in the targeted locations. So ito, napakahaba ng account ng Voice of America, no? Okay. Multiple Western scholars of international and military law went on social media to reject the human shield claim. They said the report contained poor phrasing that muddied legal distinctions and ignored the combat conditions in Ukraine. The United Nations War Crimes Investigations Mark Velasco, tweeting in a personal capacity Friday, accused Amnesty International of getting the law wrong. Oh my God. Okay, and said the Ukraine was taking steps to protect civilians. Okay, dami oh. Now, let's see. This is the best part. Reuters, my former idol pagdating sa balita. Reuters, nakasamahan ni Maria Ressa, di ba? Ito yung supporters enabler to ni Maria Ressa eh. Well, how do they report this?
What one? Which one? That one. Yeah.
The same report. Okay. Head of Amnesty's Ukraine office quits after group accuses Kiev. Picture of a man jumping into a trench, no? A trench. Probably this is a Ukrainian soldier. Yeah, member of the National Guard jumps into a trench at a position near the front line as Russia attacks Ukraine continues. Okay? Wow. The head of Amnesty International's Ukraine office. Okay. Amnesty made the comments in a report published Thursday that drew fierce criticism from the Ukrainian government. President Volodymyr Zelensky led denunciations of Amnesty's allegation, accusing the group of trying to shift the responsibility from the aggressor to the victim. Okay? Ukraine's, should not change or remove, okay? Polkachuk said Amnesty unwittingly created material that sounded like support for Russian narratives of the invasion in an effort to protect civilians. This study became a tool for Russian propaganda. Okay, ask about the, anong ending nila dito? Kenyan officials say that they take every possible measure to evacuate civilians from frontline areas. Russia denies targeting civilians. Okay, and then
That's it.
it ends there. That's it. Right? So they did not denounce Amnesty International. They just make a very straightforward news about it. So when the media targets you, kahit ano pang sitwasyon mo, and they want
You
you
are
dead,
done.
they want you out.
You're
You're done.
completely over.
Ha?
Yeah.
Nawalan ba ako ng audio?
Meron hindi. Meron.
Nawalan ako ng audio?
Hindi. Never.
There. Tama ba? Ay,
Mm.
mali. Yeah, okay na?
Yeah, okay naman. Hindi naman nawala yung audio mo.
Okay. Anyway, so, Attorney Ahmed, what is gaslighting in this aspect? Diba? How is gaslighting applied here? In the larger context, kasi usually yung gaslighting sinasabi natin yan in a particular domestic context. But in a larger context, is gaslighting done by the media also? It's part of propaganda.
Of course.
Oh, and how bad is gaslighting in the domestic context, and how bad would it be in the national context?
Well, it's really bad in the domestic context. In other words, in the home, right?
Mm.
In a home setting, in a setting about marriage, for example, a marital setup. It's really bad because it not only tries to win an argument, but it also dominates over the person. Hindi na yung atake sa argumento ng kalaban eh. Sa tao
Mm.
na. At ang malala doon is it's because it's passive aggressive. Iniisip tuloy ng taong inaabuso, yung ginagaslight, ay siyang may kagagawan. Siyang may kagagawan nitong lahat ng to na kasi napapaliw na yata siya at siya ang may kasalanan nitong lahat ng to. Which is a very how do you call that? It's ano ba, paano ba sabihin niya?
Hindi kasi
Mamaya.
natin 'to nasusubukan, ano? Nasubukan mo na bang maganyan? Yung ikaw yung tama, tapos ikaw yung biktima, tapos ikaw pa yung titirahin. Or
Yeah. Well,
it's made to
hindi,
appear.
that is not exactly gaslighting.
Ikaw yung-
What's
oh.
going on is victim blaming yung sinasabi mo.
Ay, no. What I mean is, parang mas titingnan pa na, ano bang ibig sabihin nun, gaslighting?
Yung gaslighting yung halimbawa,
Mas matindi pa yung kanyang dinadanas? Ganon? Na
hindi.
suffering than you?
Hindi. Parang ang ginagawa, kasi it's a kind of really evil argument eh. It's a really evil kind or way of arguing something or winning an argument. Because it not only dominates the argument but also the arguer, the person na kaya mali yung arguments mo dahil baliw ka eh. Ikaw nag-invento ka na lang ng mga facts mo dyan eh. Di ba? Teka. Ipopost ko yung let me just Google quick example.
Yeah, we can start at the domestic level kasi before before we understand. Kasi sabi nila, itong gaslighting daw, ang pinanggagalingan ng term is a play. Tama? From the 1930s.
Oh.
And then ang kwento niyan is parang yung babae ina-outshine mo yung kanyang kandila by lighting up a gas light. Which is brighter than yung lalaki daw is he lit up a gas light at a higher place. So kumbaga with the brighter light na galing dun sa gas light over the candle, yung ilaw ng kandila becomes becomes so insignificant. Right? So parang ina-out shine mo, parang gano'n.
Ito.
Terminology. Sabi ha? Ito. Yan. Binabalik na ng istorya pa sa lahat sa lahat. Pero this is victim blaming or ano?
No, it's different. It's different. Yan.
Sige. Let's dichotomize.
Okay, meron pang may kasunod pa yan. Sige lang, basahin niyo lang muna.
Okay.
Okay, Okay. Yan. The gaslighter is trying to manipulate the other person and presents their own thoughts and feelings as the truth. So parang tipong, yun nga,
so how by making herself more kumbaga
okay. Meron pa ako example na. Sige lang.
a bigger victim? Paano ba siya nangyayari? Kunwari in the case of domestic abuse. So ako na lalaki, kunwari ako yung abuser, I will make myself look like even more abused like Johnny Depp. Ganun ba yun?
Hindi, hindi ganun. Parang nangyari, halimbawa mag-away yung asawa at saka yung husband and wife. Okay? Tapos itong lalaki na ginugulpi niya talaga itong babae. Ano siya, bousy siya, violence against women and their children. Okay? But then imbis na pabayaan na lang yan pagkatapos niyang gulpihin, pagkatapos niyang abusuhin, ay meron pa siyang insidious, yan ang sinasabi ko, ang hinahanap kong word na insidious na tactic of manipulating the person into thinking that because by using a false story or a conjured story, yung invento lang niya na ibang-iba doon sa actual na nangyayari na ginagawa ng lalaki doon sa babae sa pagkakaalam ng babae. Parang tipo, hindi, ginugulpi mo lang naman ako, wala namang iba. Hindi. Hindi kita ginugulpi. Ano yan? It's a form of, di ba nag-usap tayo ng ganyan na paminsan-minsan ay gugulpihin kita, ikaw yung nagsabi niyan dahil you're some kind of like a dumb pervert or something. Tapos ngayon, ang babae, isipin, wait, ganun pa talaga ako? Ako bang nagsabi niyan? Did I request this? Did I ask you to do this to me? So, parang gumugulo yung isip niya. Imbis na siya yung biktima, siya pa ngayon tuloy yung siya pa tuloy ngayon yung may request na gawin sa kanya yon. Di ba? Na parang tipong psychological talaga. It's a psyops, psywar operation na binapaliw ka talaga. Binapaliw ka. It
just
makes
like
you doubt your perception of things and the reality of the world, what's going on with you. Yeah.
Just like what we have been discussing and what we have been finding very, very odd. Okay, like why would the United Nations consider the government's prosecution of criminal acts a violation of human rights? Diba? Ipapalabas nila na yung pagpo-prosecute is actually a violation of human rights, so making it a bigger sin than the sin that was being prosecuted.
Exactly.
Gaslighting ba yan?
Well, not directly. It can be gaslighting because it will depende kung sino ang tinatanong mong recipient ng abuse na yan.
Tayo.
If it's the people, if it's the citizens of Ukraine, for example, mukhang gaslighting yan. Mukhang gaslighting yan because it paints a completely different picture of the world, of how we understand things. Kasi the way we understand things is it's the government that prosecutes crimes, that prosecutes violations of rights. And yet, suddenly, here is the UN, di ba? The UN or some other human rights body like the Amnesty International saying that, no, that is prosecuting these people is a human rights violation itself. And that being said by a body whose integrity and credibility in such issues as human rights would tend to, come out as very credible, and therefore people would tend to believe, teka muna, oo nga, no? Mukhang like, human rights issue nga ito, no? Itong ipinaprosecute natin itong mga kriminal na to.
Yung pinaprosecute mo pinaprosecute mo kunwari assuming merong ebidensya laban kay Laila de Lima. I don't think the DOJ will be that stupid to file a case against a former DOJ chief kung wala talaga silang ebidensya, di ba?
And a present senator.
So, kung merong ebidensya and the trial is still ongoing, how can that be human rights violation? No, and what makes them think that that it will succeed? Ano sabi dito? Konti lang kasi yung materials nito talaga eh. Does it happen to gaslight someone? Tama yung sinasabi mo, is to manipulate them into questioning their perception of reality. If this sounds vaguely familiar, it's because it is. Political gaslighting is fast becoming the defining feature of our times. The process of political gaslighting makes use of certain techniques. It utilizes deceptive and manipulative use of information with the motivation to destabilize and disorient public opinion on political issues. Hmm.
That's right. That's right. It is
Huh?
it is a form of gaslighting, and the victims would be the citizens, the people who read mass
Oh,
media.
okay. Anong sabi ni Maria Reza na pinagtatawanan natin dun sa hindi siya ang nagsabi nito. This is from Philippine Star ba na sinasabi na hindi siya pinoprosecute ng gobyerno. Eh yung nakasulat nga na complainant is people of the Philippines. Naalala mo 'yon?
Ayan,
And
yan.
we were
Sinasabi,
and we were laughing, 'di ba?
yeah, because it's ridiculous. Yeah.
Oh, and why would it be ridiculous?
Because, well, our normal understanding of the legal system here is that, the prosecutor is the person who works for the government and is in charge of prosecuting the violations of crimes,
Yeah.
of rights and laws.
Yeah.
Diba? So,
So who is the aggrieved party really in a crime? In the
the state,
under Philippine law?
the state, the Philippine
Filipino people.
sovereign, the sovereign, yes.
Kaya nga.
People.
So that's why it's called the Filipino people, di ba? The people of
Yes.
the Philippines versus whoever.
Mm. And it's
Because
not
the
the
aggrieved,
government.
the aggrieved party is the people, di ba?
Oh,
In every crime.
the Commonwealth. Oh, yan.
Oh,
It's the
in every crime.
yes. in
Therefore,
every-
if we are the aggrieved party, we are the victim.
Mm.
If we are now made to feel like it was wrong for us to even make ourselves aggrieved, isn't that
Yes, and
gaslighting?
having the case, having the person who agreed us prosecuted, and then suddenly we question, kami bang mali?
Hmm.
Di ba dapat ito nga talaga ang ginagawa ng estado
Di ba?
kung merong kriminal?
Kung merong mga ang tawag dito, kung merong gagamit ng kanyang kapangyarihan para
Vindictive.
libel ang i-libel ang isang private citizen, di ba? And then when the state actually wins in a case, the whole world tells us, you are human rights violators.
Yeah, including our courts.
And our courts are human rights violators. Our state is a human rights violator. Eh, tayo yung complainant dun eh. You, me, everyone else. The Filipino people. We're the complainants there.
Mm.
And
That's
we
right.
are now told that it is a human rights violation.
To prosecute
We are
a
now-
drug pusher.
Questioning, what is our reality? Di ba?
That's correct.
We are now disoriented on political issues. Okay? In reality, this translates as creating false alternative narratives not based on reality, calling them irrational or undermining their sanity for questioning the gaslighter's narrative. Tayo, we now look like fools for questioning Maria Reza. You and me, we are fools. Covering up lies to
Yeah.
make them sound convincing and so on. Gaslighting makes use of words and power, two things that feed off inequality. Latif, ito itong sumulat ito. As that political gaslighting becomes a strategy to garner support for or against an ideology, viewpoint, or policy. Aha! Meron ka palang intensyonal na direksyon, no? The result? This manipulation is pointed. Being gaslit on a mass level undermines the public's capacity to think about policy in the long and short term, and their ability to have a say in it, distorts truth and reality, and creates a sense of distrust among the public. The idea of gaslighting is mostly discussed with respect to intimate partner relationships or family dynamics, but in a political sphere, experts note its impact on mass paranoia, confusion, pain, and uncertainty.
Yan nga yun.
So, what is this ICIJ up to?
Well, it's probably it's probably a softening stage or phase of a greater attack later on. So parang binabalian mo muna ng konti yung buto dito sa kanan, sa kaliwa. Na hindi mo muna papabagsakin yung kalaban mo, yung nalalambot mo lang. Tapos mamaya another attack happens and that will bring us down with
Have they
conclusively.
succeeded? Have they succeeded in bringing down the government? What do you see?
Let me see. Yes, ERAP.
No, wala pa sila noon. They were only made in 2017.
No, ibig sabihin, well,
No, this ICIJ was only formed in 2017.
okay.
And
Well,
remember when we played a video of Maria Reza, she also says something about 2017. All of them have a reference date, 2016 or 2017.
2017 daw yung nagsimula yung nagkagulo-gulo na yung institutions were crumbling from the inside and it was Kafkaesque. Ganyan.
Our impact. Okay, they attack the failure of the World Bank. Pero hindi pa to masyadong mabigat. Okay. Shaken establishment and lead to public protests. So sino kaya tong mga sinake nila na establishment?
Kailan ba nangyari yung yung WikiLeaks anong pangalan niya?
Nauna pa yun? Okay. Czech Republic, national election. Okay. 1 week before the first vote, the Pandora Papers investigation revealed that Bobby is a populist who has thundered against the corruption and political and economic elites, used shell companies in tax havens to buy a chateau on the French Riviera. He did not disclose the chateau of 4 companies as required by Czech law. One media poll suggested 8% of his party supporters switched their votes, and when the votes were tallied, Bobby said his party lost.
Ginawa din nila kay Duterte yan eh.
Kaya nga. So, they're using this to manipulate elections. Okay? That's in Czech Republic. Governments around the globe promise tougher laws, convene public hearings, and launch investigations. Media outlets, anti-corruption experts, and protesters clamored for aggressive efforts. Okay, the New York Times headline, media partners, investigation is a money bomb. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Blood and dollars. Okay. Kenyan president said that the United Nations, okay. Sino pa mga tinira nito? Si King Abdullah. Okay. Brazil.
Si president ng Amerika.
Okay. In Brazil, protesters threw red paint, spattered fake U.S. currency and real chicken feet at the office of the economy minister, Paulo Guedes, after revelations he created a shell company in the British Virgin Islands. Brazil's lower legislative chamber later summoned Guedes to explain his offshore activity. Now, I want to know if somebody here from Brazil can verify whether this Paulo Guedes was actually found guilty of whatever they were accusing, but they already caused disturbance of public function by urging protesters to throw red paint and chicken feet into his office. In Cyprus, hundreds of protesters gathered to demand that President Nikos Anastasiades resign after Pandora Papers investigation showed that a law firm he'd founded. All of these are destabilization. These are all inciting to sedition. In the U.S., Joshua Rudolph, an anti-corruption expert in the Non-Profit Alliance for Securing Democracy, said American authorities should respond to the Pandora Papers with sweeping and forceful policy reforms. They are now mga kasabwat siguro nila to, no? Okay. Like
Mm.
the previous ICIJ reports, partnerships have zeroed in on offshore money. Okay, a nation that has long criticized countries for enabling money laundering and tax evasion. Okay, sabi dito, okay, down, down, down.
Alam mo kung sinong
Kota,
naunang gumawa
kota.
niyan?
Ano?
Alam mo kung sinong unang gumawa niyan? Si J. Edgar Hoover.
Wala namang problema kung totoo eh. 'Di ba? At wala namang problema kung ang intention mo is just to expose evil. 'Di ba?
Oo,
That is
and
the
maybe
work of media.
prosecute.
Yung legitimate na
Oo.
work ng media. But this one, they are really so proud that they are bringing down countries all over the world.
Regime change.
Okay? Across the Atlantic.
Regime change ang objective nila.
The Pandora Papers prove that the current approach is exchanging nicely worded letters simply doesn't cut it. In the United Kingdom, lawmakers blasted UK is continuing. They actually got this hairy guy, no? Ano? Sino yung ano doon? Sino to? Boris. Sino to? Yung kanilang Prime Minister sa England, tinanggal nila. Trouble for politicians. In Chile, I watched this news. I was following this news about 2 months ago. Sa Chile, lawmakers impeach President Sebastian Piñera in response to revelation that part of the 150 million sale of his children's interest in a mining company was conditioned on the Chilean government not imposing certain environmental restrictions. The government led Piñera at the time. Piñera denied any conflict of interest. Chile's Senate voted 24-18 in favor of removing him, but the vote fell short of the required threshold. I mean, they're intriguing entire countries.
Yep.
In
Regime
Ecuador,
change nga.
in Honduras. These are their targets. What is this all about? In Switzerland, including Switzerland, Belize, Seychelles.
Sabi.
Okay. 14 different service providers daw. Okay. So, how presidents, prime ministers, and even one king, as well as a billionaire, celebrities, pati si Shakira tinira nito mga to, shielded vast fortunes through secretive companies set up in tax havens. Okay, assuming that they're there. But the intention, di ba? Dolo, mala, di ba, Lorne? Yung intention to just destroy countries, meron bang ongoing na hindi natin alam na movement to actually destroy, just like yung nangyari nung 1700s, to destroy what the monarchies of the world. Ngayon, the democracies of the world, or whatever is the government structure of the world, is there an ongoing movement right now that we are not aware of to destroy this entire structure? Is this the one? Yeah, it's not the communist movement.
It's one of them. But this is the more insidious one.
It's more effective than the communist one. Di ba?
Yeah, because of tactic.
Secrecy brokers. And you will notice that their Pandora's paper does not have any mention about Cayman Islands. All of these papers, all of these leaks, walang Cayman Islands. Bakit kaya?
Sino yung may account sa Cayman Islands?
The Firm. Di ba, The Firm? Si Tom Cruise, Cayman Islands yun. Bakit
Pero
kaya ito
sino
lahat?
sa mga ICIJ?
Ha?
Sino sa mga membro ng ICIJ ang merong account sa Cayman Islands?
Wait. Sige. Kausapin mo sila. I'll show them.
Alin, anong sabi ko sila? Ikaw yung
Kausapin mo sila.
pinakausap.
Kaya nga.
Sige,
Kausapin mo sila.
batiin ko muna. Batiin ko sila. Good evening, ate, si Attorney Ahmed at Sir JP, sabi ni Van Torres. Brooklyn, they're gonna drop Ukraine like a hot potato, like they do other countries. Yeah, probably. Hold on,
Oh.
Oh, anong masasabi niyo mga brothers and sisters diyan? Is this going on? Is this happening? Parang kay CJ, parang pwede ring parang ganun din. Parang mukhang regime change din. Pero 'di ba panahon pa 'yon ni Pinoy. Si Pinoy ang nag-appoint kay CJ Corona. And then when CJ Corona decided against the Quinos and the Cojuangcos in Hacienda Luisita, nagkaasiman. Nagsimula na yung doong gulo. Nagsimula na doon yung kanyang gulo.
Wait lang.
Switzerland, watching here. Oh yeah, all right. Good evening, sir. Kaya nga hate ni Maria Reza si Julian Assange. Pwede. Nagkatalo-talo na, tama.
Hindi malinaw dito Mas maganda ata kung doon tayo sa SEC decision, Pero, okay. Itong nakalagay dito na what is this? Rappler Media Network Fund LLC, NBM Rappler LLC, nandoon yan sa Cayman Islands.
Doon yan na account.
Naka-register.
Ang account. Address.
And all of these supposedly okay. May bagong lumalabas si Egan. Si Egan yung parang nagsisino na meron daw isang popular na politikong Pilipino na merong account sa Dubai. So I'm thinking now na nalilink na nila si Duterte dito sa Pandora Papers with that Dubai account. Kasi yun lang yung binabanggit nila. You're not making banggit this Cayman Islands, but ang sinasabi nila na enablers are in Dubai, saan yung mga lugar na sinasabi nila? Ito ba yun? Hindi, sa Prague na.
Ano ba yung sinasabi ko?
Hindi, sa Dubai daw yung mga pinaglalagyan ng pera.
Nino.
Okay, ito. Seychelles, UAE, yan Ito yung mga binabagsakan, Switzerland, Belize, Seychelles, UAE. And their latest mga revelations na yan, yung sa Dubai na connection ng mga pera. And si Egan, I think it was just yesterday or today. Hanapin niyo yan. Meron siyang blind item dyan na nasa Facebook. I don't know if it's Arnold
Si
Krabi
Egan
na Egan.
Sino Egan yung maitim na tao?
Hindi, yung nasa Channel 7. Si Arnold Fabio.
Okay.
Oh.
Mrs. Sara Balabagan. Mr. Sara Balabagan.
Sino yun? Can you expound on that?
No.
No. Okay. Is that a data leak or an expose?
It's the truth. Sara
It's the truth? Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned?
She said it herself. The girl.
Hindi nga.
Yeah.
How about yung yung kwento na itong meron dong babae din na na broadcaster daw ng ABS-CBN na
Ano yun? Yung nauhaw sa parking lot?
gano'n.
Yung nauhaw
Hmm.
sa parking lot?
Hmm. Dilaan daw niya eh.
Hindi ko alam yun, sir.
Hindi ko alam din yun. Noon daw yun. O yun.
Vicente ba?
So balikan natin si gaslighting. Okay. The result is pointed. Being gaslit on a mass level undermines the public's capacity to think about policy in the long and short term. Yun na nga, parang wala tayong nakikita vision. Kakalimutan natin kung ano yung gusto natin mangyari. Isipin mo nagkagulo yung buong bansa dahil sa meme. About the reality of a movie, about how it distorts history. My God, ang babaw. Di ba? At paano
Mababaw
nila
para sa
yan? Hindi, paano nila kasi yan napasiklab? Dahil tinapatan nila. Di ba? Wala naman talaga sila dapat pantapat pero tinapatan nila. Pilit nilang tinapatan. Asan yung distortion dun ng truth and reality? Those two are not history. We sought, kumbaga, diniscuss nga natin yan dito bago pa naglabasan yung mga palabas na yan eh. Movie is not history. Movie does not reflect reality. It is a work of art. And it will never reflect reality as reality, so it cannot be used as a basis for understanding history. And it creates a sense of distrust among the public. The idea of gaslighting is most discussed with respect to intimate partner relationships. Okay. Ang sabi dito, downplaying the administration's wrongs or pwede rin baliktarin mo yan, di ba? How is it done? Okay. Downplaying the administration's wrongs or
Diverting
inflating it,
attention.
encouraging deliberate misinformation, and diverting attention from relevant news.
Oh,
Remember that BIR?
yung settlement ng ABS-CBN ay ng First Philippine Holdings and the BIR. It was so completely diverted.
Encouraging deliberate misinformation. Fact check na walang katuturan. Isn't that deliberate misinformation? Yung diniscuss
Yes, it
natin
is.
dito. Na fact-checking nila kay Amy Marcos. Amy Marcos never even made a claim that she was the
Gaslighting,
mayor.
alam mo, yung fact checking, especially the one that they do on Facebook, that's classic gaslighting. You suddenly doubt your ability to understand the law when your post is about a legal opinion, and then suddenly, what? I'm a lawyer. That is a legal opinion, but I'm wrong. I'm suspended now. Parang ganyan. Gaslighting yan siya.
Ito. So, pwede itong baliktaran, no? It's a double-edged sword. So, sinasabi niya dito, notably, the government says no one died in the last months due to an oxygen shortage, despite multiple first-hand accounts. The line between fact and fiction becomes too thin. Or on the other way around, when there are only 3,700 deaths and you make it 30,000, the thin line between fact and fiction becomes too thin.
Extrajudicial killings.
And when you make it appear that there are 20,000 deaths being investigated by the ICC in their International Criminal Court, when nobody reads that the investigation of the prosecutor actually just yielded 200 something reports. 200.
And they were reports that are found in a media.
Hindi. Ano naman, may interviews daw. Okay, sabihin na natin may interviews, pero pag binasa mo, hindi rin first-hand account eh. So, those things need to be... Oo. Yeah,
Di ba?
those
May
things need
investigation.
to be
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
those things need to be uh, discussed in detail, pero yun, hindi. Di ba? Deliberate misinformation. Alam mo ba yung bilang nun, sir? Na 200 plus lang yung nakita nilang kaso or nakausap nilang kaso dito sa Philippines,
Yeah,
yung ICC.
yeah.
You're aware of that, not 200 plus lang. Out of 20,000,
Di ba
27,000 claims.
nag-file niyan si ano, yung abogado na namatay na?
Hmm.
Si, what is his name? Yung hindi, dahil hindi siya binayaran ng mga yelo, edi bumaliktad siya. Si Biko yung kanilang ano, yung kanilang testigo.
Ito ang ganda ng tanong, oh. Uy,
Where?
ah,
Sabio. Attorney Sabio.
ito. What if,
Yeah, it's not hard to ano, it's not hard to imagine.
di ba?
It's possible.
So, there are two distinct victims of political gaslighting. The gaslit and those who hold opposing views. Political gaslighters may try to silence the latter. Ano ba nangyayari sa atin ngayon dito sa Facebook?
Silence. Yeah, but you can try. Yosin mo
Okay.
na ako.
Ayun. So, some of these media partners ng ICIJ, in fairness, they appear to be really in it for the journalistic virtue of it. Okay, some of them are really good, well-intentioned, and some of them are really fighting for their country's issues and really adhering to the principles that are enshrined in investigative journalism. Okay, I do not want to be misunderstood. Investigative journalism, in its ideal sense, is actually very good. Like what we're doing now, this is investigative journalism.
Yep.
Diba? You dig deeper than what you are told. You dig deeper than what you see or what you read in ano. This is investigative journalism. And investigative journalism is really good. Okay? But when you make yourself appear like you're doing investigative journalism and just inventing things, that's where the evil comes in.
That's fucked up.
Because that will now come into this level, no? Deliberate misinformation. And see, wala sila sinasabing disinformation. Look at the words that Rappler or Resha uses. It's always disinformation.
Yeah. As if there's no longer, a place or any space for making
Error.
mistakes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay?
There is no faith anymore, 'di ba? Palagi
Ito-
na lang bad faith.
Deliberate na nga to, miss pa rin yung tawag niya, oh. Tingnan mo yung wording.
Alin?
It's already deliberate, but misinformation pa rin ang sinasabi niya.
Yeah.
And
Because
then,
I don't
itong-
think disinformation exists as a word. Invento lang to ng mga gaslighters.
Yeah, kaya nga sinasabi ko because you can only be misinformed, but to be disinformed,
Yeah, that's being defrauded.
oh, hindi ko nga siya, tinatanong nga kita niyan dati pa di ba? What is the difference between misinformation and disinformation? Because for me,
Yeah.
I don't know of misinformation. Maybe the
Hindi.
words exist now, no? It exists now, pero,
Oh, because it's a form of propaganda. So it's called
hmm,
it's a technical term. It's like misinformation is a transactional word. Parang tipong because it happens and in every transaction and every other transaction. But itong disinformation was invented just to
Steer.
refer to a kind of propaganda tactic that is
Oh.
that through that tends to confuse the public by giving them deliberately giving them false information.
Oh, and,
Gaslighting din yun.
di ba? And ano naman yung nilagay natin sa sticker na Darvo?
What
Yung
about
Darvo, okay. Ito naman yung ano. I know, I think this is now the difference between Maria Reza and the rest of the ICIJ team. No? Kasi yung, if we believe that some of them are doing it for the right reasons, then, and not all of them are just criminals or alam mo yun, trying to get away with the crime. Di ba, when we discussed, no? When could she have decided to just destroy the whole thing, destroy the whole house, destroy the whole Philippine setup? Di ba, attorney? Yun yung
when
tanong
did
natin.
when did they decide to do that?
Oo, di ba yun yung pinag-uusapan natin privately? Di ba? Not here, no? Not here.
Yeah, but my suspicion is that they started doing this
And they,
because of the loss of Robredo. Walang kwenta naman pa na itong kandidato. Tayo na lang tatakbo.
or let's wrestle it, no? Let's wrestle it, di ba? Let's take it.
Tayo na lang po.
Let's just take it for ourselves.
Yeah.
Well, let's see, ha? Ano nga ba yung hahanapin ko dito? Okay. Sa palagay mo, attorney, ito anong tawag dito? Itong mga kaso ni Maria Reza, no? Darvo tayo, Darvo. What does Darvo mean?
Darbo.
Right, Darvo.
Yeah, gaslighting.
Ha? Darbo is still gaslighting, but this is different, ha? May konti lang siyang difference. Palitan ko lang yung ini-share ko na screen. Share screen. Home tab. And there's Darbo. There.
Ito yung victim blaming, Darbo.
Alright. Ay, daw, mukhang expertise mo to, attorney, no? Institutional Darbo.
What do you mean? Occurs when the Darbo is committed by an institution or with an institutional complicity. It's when police charge rape victims with lying. Institutional Darbo is a pernicious form of institutional betrayal. Pwede.
So, anong abbreviation to? Darbo is
Deny, attack, reverse victim with the offender.
deny that you committed libel.
Yep. Attack.
Attack the institution, attack the government as violating human rights, and reverse the victim and offender. Tax case. Deny na pa rin. The same. SEC. Deny.
ABS-CBN.
But
ABS-CBN.
Darbo. Institutional Darbo. A pernicious form of institutional betrayal. What is institutional betrayal?
Yung institutions na dapat you otherwise place your confidence upon.
Oh, yan,
Diba? Like the police, the IBP, the courts, ganyan.
Ito sir. Sabi siya. The term refers to wrongdoings perpetrated by an institution upon individuals dependent on that institution. Ano sabi nating function ng press? Why is it protected? Because of the need of the people for information. That's why it is protected by our constitution. Not because they have a right, but because we as individuals and as a part of the public have the right to hear information from wherever sources available. And that's why all the press has to be protected. But we are now dependent on those institutions
For truth.
for truth, for information, including
And
the
then
failure to
suddenly,
prevent or respond supportively to wrongdoings by individuals committed within the context of the institution. This is simply an institutional betrayal at the highest level. Only identified in 2008, oh, and discussed in more detail in various publications, mga bago lang. So, this is our problem. Because if the others, okay, we cannot ascribe anything about the others in ICIJ. But obviously, Rattler, yung kanya mga violations is a Darbo attack. Reversing it, making the Philippine government look like stupid in the entire international community. And that is not, okay, and we have proven with Zelensky that that is not a thing that you can take lightly because when you get into trouble, nobody will help you.
yeah, Ukraine.
We saw that firsthand just a few months ago because way back in January, nobody cared about Ukraine. Or alam yun, we were just concerned that something will happen, but nobody really listened to what Ukraine's problem was. Why? Because the media painted him as a corrupt official. What painted their society as a populist society. Therefore, we do not have anything. We do not want anything to do with them. Like we are a populist society as far as they are concerned. As far as the rest of the world is concerned, we are a populist society. And when we introduce the term populist, is not something you can be proud of. It's an insult. Yes. Nakausap lang ako ni Aaron.
Yep, that's it. I guess we're done. Unless there are questions, what Darvo is and what institutional betrayal and gaslighting and ano ba yung mga concepts na sinabi natin? Victim blaming. Yun. So yan yung mga natutunan natin ngayong gabi.
Was I institutionally betraying anyone by appearing as bald and you as appearing as long hair? Is that
No.
institutional betrayal? No. Ito si Atty. Sabio. What about the Atty. Sabio? Huh?
Yan ang file ng ICC case.
And he later withdrew it, right?
Died. Yeah. He
But he
withdrew
withdrew it
because it was
first.
not paid.
Going back to mobile, whoa. Okay, lumalabas ngayon ang tungkol kay Amy and Archimedes Trajano. Ayun, ikaw. May alam ka dyan eh. You posted about that. Trajano case?
Ako, I don't know anything about that.
Hindi ba ikaw yung nag-post nun nung walang, iba pala, si Sas pala yung nag-post nun, na wala daw nangyaring trial, but there was already a decision against Amy. What is this all about? Are you familiar with that?
No. Yung sa law school niya, I don't know.
What is this? Can you,
Sa paliwanag mo, Jezreel, kung ano yan. Join us.
I know. Join us. Tell us.
Give him the link.
Because I'm not familiar with it. Pero I read about this in passing kanina. Lumalabas nga siya, yeah. Here, yung mga journals who say something good about Russia, automatic Russian asset. So you do not have any right to alam mo yun, to find anything good about the enemy. Or, di ba? Just because branded na yan. No? How about yung yung student region ng Western Visayas?
Ano nangyari doon?
Hindi ko na nga pinost yung kanya sinabi eh. Because it's really so bullshit.
Ano ba
Galit
yan yung
siya.
Okay, continue.
Yeah, galit siya. At nananawagan, as usual, yung mga student region, nananawagan ng strike. Di ba? Na huwag daw silang pumasok na kasi kung papayagan yung application ni First Lady na magturo ng Criminal Law 1 sa kanilang Western Visayas something, State University. Kasi daw, bakit daw bibigyan pa ng platform itong pamilyang ito na mga mandarambong, mga ganon, etc., etc., para makapag-poison pa daw ng mga estudyante. Western Visayas State University.
That is
Kaya
right.
nga sabi ko nga eh, kung gusto niya ng platform, ba't yan pa sa university mo na walang kwenta?
Oo
Hindi
nga,
yan
sa
kilala
Ateneo
eh.
na lang.
Hindi lang yun. Ang dami nilang university. Yung mga Araneta. Ilang university ang pagmamayari ng mga Araneta?
Emilio Aguinaldo.
Piati ba sa kanila yan? O yung yung dati?
Yung
Ano
Araneta
ko
yun.
kung sa kanila pa rin, ha?
Yung Araneta.
Basta hindi ko alam, ha? Marami. They have interest in many universities and schools. Kung gusto niya lang talaga ng platform, she can use that. Or she can even have a TV channel in PTV4 if she wants. But to go to Western Visayas State University and teach mens rea and dolo and the concept of territoriality of criminal law and where it starts and where ano ang ibig sabihin ng prescription period. Kung maggagawa ka ng political statement, ba't yan yung ituturo mo?
Or maybe she just really wanted to teach criminal law.
Precisely. Can't you see that? At tingnan mo, nag-apply ha. You are the first lady. You submit a letter. You submit a letter of application. At ang nagsabi niya yung student regent mismo, I don't even know the facts. I'm just getting the facts from his statement. Na itong university natin, dapat hindi natin itong application.
What's that?
My dogs are fighting.
Salamat po nilalayog, madam, for
Diba?
the numbers.
So hindi tatanggapin yung application. So nag-apply yung first lady, nagpakumbaba. Hindi ako makakomment. Mahina net dito, nagpuputol-putol. Oy, sorry. Platform to deodorize. 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 Yung si ano to, yung si State University, Visayas State University.
Ay, si State University.
Sabi daw it will betray the plight of victims of martial law.
Why?
Pag
betraying
nagturo
the
siya-
plight, betraying the plight of the victims of martial law, so betraying is doing the opposite.
Tanyada yan, Tanyada.
At
Tanyada.
victimize them.
Masasaktan si Tanyada.
Sino Tanyada yung yung nagsuot ng brief at nagpasalamat dahil binigyan siya ng
Hindi.
brief?
Yung nandoon sa lahat ng martial law. Mula
Yun.
1871.
Yun nga yun, it's the same guy.
Ha?
It's the
Share
same
natin
guy.
yun. Share natin yun. Share natin yun.
Share natin. Share.
I-share natin yun. Baka nandito yun natin.
Yung
Alas ninyo, dito sa bahay namin, may Dracula.
Ito ba yung victim na martial law?
Dakota. Ayan Dracula.
Pumasok daw kasi sa kanya yung mga
Dito sa bahay namin, may Dracula.
It prescribes in 1 year. Alam mo yung
Pakilala sa
okay,
inyo.
this is just poor editing on my part. I was just playing around with it. because I wanted to see kung ano yung mangyayari sa Facebook. Yan.
Medyo ko lang.
Matutunan mo yan sa Criminal Law 1. No? Kasi sabi daw niya pare dito sa kanyang statement, balik ko lang. What does he say here? Yan. Ang sabi niya dyan, nababasa ba?
Hindi. Liit.
Saksi ako, abogado rin ako ng claimants. 1081 ba yan? 1081, no? Presidential Proclamation 1081. Ito yung mga naningil ng danyos para dun sa mga napahirapan noong panahon ng martial law. Yung mga buhay mismo nila, talagang ako mismo ang nag-litigate. Ako ang lawyer noon, kaya alam ko ang buhay rin nila. This came out after this came out after we attacked his age. Okay? After people started attacking his age. Na parang, personal ano mo yan? And then the following day, pag sinearch mo yung personal experience ni hindi na siya lalabas, ito na yung lalabas. So now they replaced it with this narrative now that he's just imbibing the experience of his clients.
That's fucking half-assed.
Ay, kailan ba to naging Kailan ba siya naging
movie? That was 2 years ago.
No. Kailan ba siya naging abogado?
Bago lang.
Okay. Dito tayo.
Hindi ko alam kung kailan naging abogado yan. Mas matanda sa akin yan. 47263. So, nauna lang yan sa akin ng mga few years.
Yeah, 2002. So, sinong nilitigate niya dyan?
Oo nga. Meron pa ba? Meron pa bang mga
may bagong may bagong complainant noong 2002? At meron pa bang litigation na nangyari noong 2002? Siya daw kasi yung nag-litigate
Pauso.
Ako mismo. Yung mga buhay mismo nila, talagang ako mismo ang nag-litigate.
What? Nilitigate niya yung buhay ng mga yan? Wala sa ayos, sir?
Yung mga buhay mismo nila, talagang ako mismo ang nag-litigate. Litigate yan, di ba? Tama? Ako ang lawyer noon. Kaya alam ko ang buhay rin nila. So, nakakuha ka pa ng kliyenteng bago, noong
2022.
2002. Ito yung masaklap. Kasi hindi na ito binasa ng mga readers natin . Noong 2019, nagkaroon ng award yan. $19 million. No, 13.5 or thereabouts. $13.75 million na pagkati-hatian. Alam mo kung magkano yung napunta sa lawyers? Doon sa 13.75? $4 million. So yung natirang 9. Hindi. Sa damages to, kasi settlement to nangyari . Nagkaroon ng settlement. Okay? Nagkaroon ng settlement. So $4 million went to the lawyers and the $9 million went to 6,000 victims. Ang naghati-hati sa lawyers, wala pang 10 pare, mga 5 lang. Pero wala naman siya doon . Wala siya sa listahan. Sabi niya nag-litigate siya. So baka doon siya na biktima kasi hindi siya nabigyan.
Kaya na bad trip. Tapos biktima na siya ngayon ng martial law. Pwede. Tama. Mabuti na lang nagsuot siya ng brief na binigay sa kanya.
Pwede ipopost mo. Wag mo na post, no? Hindi mo na natin ipopost.
Pwede naman natin i-blur yun .
Ikaw, mahirapan tayo dyan. Baka maano tayo dyan. Ma-MTRCB.
Hindi na. I don't need to post his stupid face. Bakit?
Yan mga adjust mo. Sige. Abangan natin yan. Anyway. Okay. So itong mga propaganda na ganito, no? No? Institutional betrayal,
Gaslighting, garbo,
gaslighting.
victim blaming.
So, daming research, oh. Daming research, oh. Hindi na natin puntahan yan. But the point is, it exists. But this type of activity by media, no, to deny, attack, and reverse victim and offender is actually done even in government, okay, even in government. But right now, it seems like governments, national governments, are
The victims.
the victims of this kind of attacks, and no one is able. Wala akong nakikita
Na-identify.
literature na na-identify that this is a goddamn threat to the international community. In fact, some
we should write that literature. Maybe we should write that literature, or maybe we should not write it. We should just say it here.
yeah, and leave it to our future archaeologists to uncover that 30 years before the world crumbled, there were two insane guys who were already discussing this, but they were suppressed by the Darbo people, the ICIJ, and
We
Facebook.
will see. We will see if that will happen.
Ayan. But
Because I have this finger too.
ay, okay, let's talk about Let's talk about what do you call this? Chow chow. Chow chow yumul.
Oh. Ano natin?
I really think he is also yung kanyang repression, ha? Kasi now I remember he showed me. No, I actually tried to find out ano yung mga efforts na ginawa niya. Nung kaming dalawa yung nag-away.
Yeah.
Hindi kami nag-away. Nung inaway ako ng kanyang mga followers for criticizing his statement. I saw there that he went to ABS-CBN, asked for them to cover his what do you call this? His leak.
His story.
His tip.
Oh.
And nobody acted on it. He went to ABS-CBN Zamboanga, he went to other stations, and he went online, he went to institutions. Diba?
Yep.
And nobody will listen to him. And then, that's a cake. Cheesecake. Okay, now, hindi kaya siya biktima ng ganito and it resulted to him deciding to, di ba?
Yeah, gaslighting. When it's a psychological attack.
Yeah. And yung reaction will be potentially violent.
Yes.
Pero
magiging America na tayo niyan where suddenly there will be a shooting in a graduation. In a schools for children.
Pero wag natin pag-usapan yun kasi sasabihin nila, now we are violating the Facebook community rules by talking about violence. Bawal yun.
And controversial events.
Controversial issues. Bawal yun, bawal yun.
Let's just talk about the person for a while and then move on.
Yeah. Hindi
Let's
tayo
talk about my
mag-insight.
hair. Let's talk about my hair.
Yeah, about sino bang ano yan? Sino bang tawag? Teka. I'll just tell you. Okay, sabi kasi ng ating kapatid ito daw ay wait, yan, there you go. You know how to open this? Let's show Kuya to help you. Okay? Oh, yun. yung mga galing Japan dyan, oh, mga galing Japan, kilala nila yan. Yan, so, konnichiwa, chiko. So, yon. Sino pa ba? Marcelo Martyrs. The Story of Archimedes Trajano. Yun, ha? Hanap ko kanina nang makita ko kay Ma'am Sas. O yun, kay Sas ko nga nabasa. So, di naman umugong dito noon. Pati nung naging senadora siya, ngayon lang, gaslighting ba siya? Okay, tama ba? What do you think?
I don't know the story. I haven't
No.
read,
No. Let's just look at the generalities. An issue, an old issue, picked up, alam mo yun, just to I think it's inciting, not gaslighting. Reviving an old issue? What do you think?
Well, this one is probably this is a plain and simple propaganda, black propaganda. It's a straightforward black propaganda which is boils down to libel.
Asan ba pagkaon nito? Asan ba yung pagkaon di abay? Panghatag daw ba?
Ikaw kasi ang kumakain.
Hindi, yung anak ko gustong kumain. And yun. So, ano pang question? May questions ba kayo or reactions na gustong i-share? Okay, so right
Kung
now,
matulog na tayo.
okay. Sige, ganito lang ha. So
Iba
right
pala.
now, we are seeing, recap lang natin. So we are seeing that it's a worldwide thing. Now we are seeing the evidence and we are seeing the obviousness of the groups that are behind this. And I don't need to lead you to the part of the ICIJ donors list for you to identify who are behind this. And if you dig a little bit deeper by clicking, hindi yung luminous ha, yung luminate. And it will lead you to a more specific description of who is supporting what. And you will see the name there that is a part of the issue ng foreign funding ni Rappler. Okay? So they're directly financing this whole stuff. Will they benefit? Will they benefit out of this? I don't know. What's their plan? But if you have
Baka manalo siya. Populist naman mangyayari sa kanya yan. Siya naman na magiging populist.
Ayan. So, gaslighting ay parang kausap mo lang ang isang chronic addict na ikaw pa ang may fault. Pag nagpaliwanag siya, sabi mo sa sarili mo, teka, ako ito, hindi addict. Ako ang faulty. Baka natalo ka lang sa argumento. And you just consider him wrong because he's an addict.
Hindi.
No. Hindi. Kumbaga, hindi mo makumbinsi. Or ikaw na nakumbinsi sa narrative niya.
Kasi, ang adik kasi is nagpapa-victim yun eh. Parang tipong iniiwanan ako ng parents ko dito. Marami nga kaming pera pero wala man ako mga magulang. Ganyan. Kaya nag-drugs na lang ako para mapansin. Ganyan.
Okay.
Ngayon sa akin, parents ang may kasalanan.
Or in a relationship, paano siya nag-apply?
Ganon din.
Na hindi mo ako love, ganon.
Hindi, na kasalanan mo kung bakit hindi na kita mahal.
This country's government manipulation happening worldwide. Not surprisingly, he is referred as a right-winger, provocateur, and a conspiracy theorist. Oh.
Is that Dinesh D'Souza?
Is this a name of a person? Let's meet. Let me. It's Souza, huh? We'll see. Indian American right-wing political commentator. Ah, okay. All right. Let's look him up. Let's see if you can find him and Maria Rez in one picture.
Ito,
Sige.
apektado.
Wag na relasyon ng pag-usapan, please.
Parang ganun yata yun kasi parang biniblame niya yung tatay niya na hindi siya umibig.
Gaslighting ba yun? Ako naman yun. Ang ganda ng topic, madami na naman akong natutunan. Okay. Slow lang, no? Ini-slow lang natin to kasi sa totoo lang, heavy talaga siya. Sobrang heavy na nakakatakot. And parang nakakabaliw na parang isipin mo, nabubuwang na ba kami? Why are we thinking like this? And why is this, there's something like this happening? So the question, I'll try to answer the question. Is there an ongoing movement, or is there a theoretical basis to consider a movement that will threaten the continuation of our global or our political setups in the world right now?
Democracy.
Yeah, the democratic system, just like what happened in the 1800s, where the world was actually becoming stable with their kingdoms. Okay? And after it got stable with the kingdoms, they were wiped out. So will democracy experience the same? And who will take over? Is there any theory on that? Yun ang tanong natin.
Meron.
Sasagutin. We're seeing it.
Yung Ewan.
Nope.
Bagong
It's a
lipunan.
different thing. Nope. Kasi ito yung tanong eh. Kung meron, why don't we take a lead? Take the lead. Diba? Or use this government to take the lead. Kasi hindi naman talaga pwedeng magaling sila mag-twist. Tawag ko nga, justified goal. Yan, okay. Ubus ang laway. O mag-adik-adik pa rin sila. Tama. Kaya, extrajudicial killing is not good. Okay? Magagalit sa'yo si Fatua.
Tingnan mo to, papansin.
Ano?
Oh, goodbye.
Sino to?
We did beg you to come here.
Oo. Sayang channel attorney. Good luck. No hurt. Okay, bye. Maria,
Hi.
bye.
Okay. Pumunta dito.
Alright. Okay. Sino pa ba? May na-miss out ba tayo na magandang
Wala na.
comment?
Wala na.
Okay, ito. What can you say?
Pwede rin.
But Corona wasn't attacking anyone. Di ba?
He was not responsible for gaslighting. He was gaslighted.
Yeah, but he wasn't attacking anyone. Di ba sa gaslighting, may perpetrator, and then yung victim, may perpetrator na may victim.
May nang-control sa atin, pareho ng message.
Sige, sana.
Or feelings.
Play.
I'm gonna
Lagay mo.
pump your ass.
Saan? Nasaan?
Umalis na.
Okay. Sino yun? Okay, so anyway.
Pareho
So
din
si
ang
CJ.
sinabi nitong Maraya. Pareho lang din ang sinabi ng Maraya. Mga troll, ito na to sila, sinaresta na to. We expected you. But I just bumped your ass.
Yeah. So okay. Yung gaslighting Corona. Was that gaslighting? I don't think so. Corona was the victim. He did not fight back. He did not make anyone look back.
He was not the one who did the gaslighting. He was gaslighted. He was gaslit.
So he was the victim of an attack of false accusation. Tama?
Yeah.
And before anyone could defend him, he was really made to look really bad by involving him with Keng. Tama?
Yeah, that's what,
Tama.
that's what we, at
Magandang
saka, ano,
example pala to.
yung buong Supreme Court, uh, institutional betrayal.
But they didn't have anything to do with the impeachment.
Hmm. Ba't hindi sila tumulong sa kanya?
How can they help in the Senate impeachment?
Hmm.
Would they have any say on it?
They can, yes. They can, no, not just the impeachment.
Oh, like how? They will make him stay
Judicial review.
judicial review of meron bang nag-file?
Meron bang
Meron
hindi?
bang nag-file?
Yun nga, exactly. Wala rin siguro.
Ay, wala rin naman nag-file. Alam mo yun? They cannot do anything. So, he was a victim, pure victim of gaslighting. No?
Yes. Tama nga. Yan nga yung tanong niya.
Yep. Gaslighting is an action that engages you enough so that you react negatively. Tipong gagalitin ka pero
Hindi, ano yan. Yung sinasabi ni James, ano yan? Passive-aggressive. Trolling yan, trolling.
oo, trolling yan. Kagaya nung yung mga ganyan. Akala nila we are so attached to them. They're unknown
Well,
katulgun siya.
if you like Attorney Trixie so much, what do we have to do with that?
Where?
Di ba?
Sino yun?
Hindi, itong
Sino
babaeng
nagsabi?
to kasi pinapalabas. Yung kanina,
Oh.
yung pinapakita
Ano ba
ko
sabi
si
niya?
Mariah.
Oh.
Di ba, you like Attorney Trixie so much. So, what? Ginagamit mo pa si Attorney Trixie dito para magpa-cute ka and attack us. I am owner of this channel.
Oh.
So,
we are actually both admins
leave.
here. Uh,
Yeah. My name is in there, up there.
Hindi lang kasi talaga ganito lang Nag-try ako magtanggal or magpalit ng pangalan. Impossible.
Hindi sila pumapayag. Facebook.
Yeah, I created the page.
It's a fake, it's a fake feature.
ng change of name.
Yeah, it's a fake feature that it makes you think that you can actually change your name, but you really can't because whatever name you decide there, you can call yourself, your channel, any name at all that follows their criteria, and still it wouldn't work. So it's just really a fake thing there that they put there.
Yeah, I made a channel a channel that was made at the start of COVID na wala pang rules. So gumawa ako doon ng isang channel na may pangalan na may COVID-19. Bawal na yun ngayon
Page.
Di ba? A page na may COVID-19 sa dulo. So I wanted to use it. Tanggalin ko yung COVID-19. Ayoko payagan.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
And kung sinubukan mo ng kahit anong pangalan yon, hindi ka nila, there's no way to qualify under their criteria.
But the page is up,
I tried
and I can use it.
So that feature that purports to allow you to change the name is really fake. It doesn't exist. It doesn't happen.
Teka, kailan ba next na press con? Na-annotate
Bukas.
natin. Meron bukas?
I think meron bukas and then Friday.
Sige,
Tuesday,
annotate natin ulit.
Friday.
Oh, and then another topic na discuss natin yung sa Congress, no? Yung composition ng Congress, yung ating sovereignty. Yan. Sovereignty. Let's get to know our congressmen. We'll do that in the afternoon. All right.
Yeah.
2 oras na. Goodbye, Sheila. And goodbye, Rain. Sino pang natira? Brooklyn, Maki. Si
Marami
Alex,
sila 130.
si Rocky, si Andy, at yung mga nagpadala ng gift kay attorney nung kanyang birthday, at nagpapadala sa ating Gcash. Thank you, Ichikawa. Maraming salamat and ligawin muna natin sila sa ibang topic. Bye! At tayo ay magpapatugtog ng ano ba? Shadow tayong ano ngayon, hindi tayo hyper ngayon. Pirahin natin ng rock. Rock.
Rock!
Rock!